What's up, YouTube family? You're tuning into another video. Thank you for all the viewers out there who have been supporting me. To all my subscribers, I greatly appreciate it. Today, I just want to talk about how dangerous the narcissist really is. You know, everyone out there who has experienced this narcissistic abuse, this narcissistic toxicity, that you can understand that behind closed doors, they're just this evil person. They belittle you, they talk down to you, they complain about everything that you do, they throw temper tantrums, to the point where things are thrown, people are being hit, for example. I mean, I've gone through that personally. My narc has hit me in the face with a hanger before, and I called her out on it, and with like a blank stare, I kid you not, with a blank stare, she just looked at me and said, that never happened. Gaslighting me. Gaslighting the reality of, I know you just hit me, so how can you sit there and tell me that didn't happen when you just did? Here's the mark. I even had a mark on me. I even had a mark on my head from her losing control because she didn't like something that I said to her, and she was throwing her hands up in the air, pulled a hanger down, and struck me right in the head. I mean, I didn't have a huge gash in my head, but the simple fact is she hit me. And did an apology, did that even cross her mind whatsoever? No. Like I said, I exposed her, and the only thing she did, instead of apologize, is give me an excuse to why it happened. To tell me that I upset her. Crazy. Doesn't matter how upset you are, you should never lay your hands on somebody. But she was telling me she wanted to validate her reason to do these things. Narcs are dangerous. I've had, there's a time with my narc where there's another disagreement. She just didn't like that I wasn't feeding her ego, tending to her needs. I want to do my own thing because, I just, during the midst of the relationship, you're just exhausted. I feel like we all feel the same way. You're just exhausted, you're drained. You just get to the point where you're just like, you don't even want to be bothered. One day I just woke up, I'm like, you know what, I just want to do my own thing. I want to go out and do things for me. Like, I'm just tired of being around this person. It's like my spirit was telling me that, this is the end of the relationship. Walk away. I wasn't seeing it. I guess in my mind I wasn't really seeing it that way, but I knew I was fed up. I knew it was just a matter of time. Either, her discarding me. This was before I knew what a narcissist was, but either her leaving or me leaving. But I was fed up. But yeah, I decided to do my own thing one day, and she was mad because I wasn't tending to her every will. And one day she was at home drinking. That's one thing about narcissists too. They engage in reckless behavior. They overdo everything they do. When it comes to drinking, drugs, you name it, they overdo it. They feel like they're invincible. But anyways, there's a night when I came home while we were living together, which I've told you in previous videos, avoid that at all costs. You don't need to be tied down to these narcs. It's a setup. But anyways, I got home one night, she was drinking. I could tell because, I could just tell when she's drinking. It was very obvious that she drank way more than she should. As soon as I got in the house, she just was going off on me, yelling at me, telling me I'm this, telling I'm that I don't care. And, this completely disregarding how she's been acting days in and days out towards me, and not validating how I must feel, because they can't. They're incapable of understanding where you're coming from because they don't care. It's all about them. It's all about their selfish needs. So here she is going off on me, telling me this, telling me something that I should think about myself, which I knew it was just complete BS. I didn't really care for it. I walked away. When I walked away, she was instantly triggered. That triggering in her mind led to her following me into the bathroom, and she had a beer bottle in her hand. I kid you not. She had a beer bottle in her hand, threw it at me. Thank God that my reflexes were quick, because the beer bottle, it wasn't an empty beer bottle, it was a full beer bottle, right? So my reflexes were quick. I got out the way. Boom. The bottle shattered on the wall. And I was just in shock. I'm like, Are you crazy? Are you, what is your problem? Like, why are you throwing stuff? Are you crazy? That could have hit me. She just looked at me with the demonic stare, the narcissistic stare. That's a topic for another video, but she looked at me with that dead eye stare, just enraged, yelling. And then I can't even recall what she said. It was, a few years ago, but she was just yelling at me. I'm just pointing out, while she's yelling at me, I'm just pointing out the things that she did. I'm like, look at this. Look at all this glass. Look. I was like, you threw the bottle so hard you caused a dent in the wall. Like, I'm not trying to hear anything you have to say right now. I don't want to hear anything about you being angry and this is why. I was like, this is unacceptable. And I started challenging her. I started telling her, I'm like, how old are you? Like, this is childish behavior. She stormed off, and I proceeded to follow her because, like, I'm like, I don't know what she's going to get. She threw a beer bottle at me. I mean, who knows? Who knows what she's going for next? She could be going for a knife. She could be going for a weapon that I don't know about. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like my life was in danger. Like, I kid you not. I felt like my life was in danger. So I followed her to the kitchen because I didn't know what she was getting. I had my phone in my hand because I was getting ready to call the police. I'm like, she's losing her mind. So she grabbed the wine glass out of the cabinet, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that? And she just looked at me. She lifted the wine glass above her head and slammed it as hard as she could. I felt like this is the way her movement was. As hard as she could into the sink. The glass shattered up in the air. Shattered. So hard to where it came back, hit her hand, and cut it wide open. Right? I'm just sitting there appalled. I'm sitting there like, this person has lost their mind. This person is beyond toxic. Something is wrong with them. She's screaming at me, telling me she needs help, telling me that this is my fault. And I told her to leave. I gave her a paper towel, and I gave her a paper towel when she needed. I told her to leave, or I was calling the police. So instead of doing that, instead of calling the police, she said, let me just call so-and-so to take me to the hospital. And I'm like, at that point, I didn't care because for me to put myself in danger, to take her to the hospital, knowing that every just erratic act that she dished out that night was my fault. There's no telling what she would do if I drove her in my own car to the hospital, or let alone the lies that she would tell. Like, I just felt in my spirit it wasn't right. I was like, okay, you just need to go. Like, you have X amount of minutes, And fast forward to the very next day, I sent her a message about last night. I sent her a message about that something's not right. Something about your behavior is just erratic. It's not normal. And I sent her a message saying also that, throughout this relationship, it appears to me that you always fake who you really are in front of your friends and family and, people I've met. And I'm like, something like this, I was like, it has to be exposed. It has to be talked about. And then when I said those words, she was just like, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about. But it wasn't that big of a deal. Pretty much diminishing everything that happened, which was sick. And it turns out later down the road, she was plotting. Because when I sent the message to her saying that, I will expose you. I will let this be known because you need help. She didn't like that. So at that point, it was game on. She was trying to get a grip on me to where I felt like I had no control. And that's something I want to touch base on another video. But I want to say that night as well, I took pictures of everything. I took pictures of the damage, the blood, everything that was there, you know, because something my spirit told me, keep this, document this, keep it, hold on to it, because you'll need it. So it's like something my spirit told me. And like I said, that will be something else that is introduced in another video about why and what the narcissist ended up doing, which, you know, beyond belief. But by the grace of God, what I said to the narcissist by being exposed, I was able to expose her. But I'm about to wrap up this video. Like I said, man, these narcs are dangerous. There's no telling what they're capable of doing. They appear nice and genuine and loving and caring. That's all facade. These narcs are just wild. You gotta protect yourself. You gotta protect your sanity and leave these narcs as soon as possible. Until next time, thank you, YouTube, for tuning in again. Peace.